say you guys are as a defense right now?
Well, I think one of the things we are starting to get better. It's only been 2 practices, but I noticed a big difference from yesterday, today. I'm paying attention to all the little things, the little details are starting to take place, and I've watched them today, more and more of getting used to each other, communicating better, all the little things. You're starting to understand it's going to take a lot of little things to get where we want to go.
Coach
Obviously, there's a ton, it's a ton of stuff to get done. But
Coach Moore was talking about how it's being the 3rd year with your defense here. A lot of guys have good familiarity with it, and maybe you could add some wrinkles this year. But what does that mean in terms of how you're able to attack things on the field and what we might see?
I think one of the things is, first of all, we've now worked together as a group. This will be our 3rd year, so we know each other's personality. We know how each other communicates and how they coach you. So that is a major plus right there, okay? We know each other's personalities. Now I know the players' personalities. I get to know what they're comfortable with and how far we can push it, how far we can take them to do different things. Because, it's, a lot of times you get to look from someone who goes, yeah, I got it. They really don't got it, but I don't know that well enough. Now I know them to know there's guys I can go to and say, listen, are we too far? Or is this too much? And they'll be honest. A couple of years ago, they may not let me know that. But now they know, and we're getting closer to getting on the same page with each other, not only coach to coach, player to coach too, and I think player to player, how we communicate to each other is getting better. And so we're able to make changes. We'll be able to do things now where, oh, hey, remember how we did that against BYU last year? Oh, yeah. So that's going to help us.
One guy who seems like he's gotten on the page pretty quickly is Jalen Phillips. So he's causing a lot of making big plays already out there.
Jalen's going to be a heck of a football player. He's just a young guy. He's a freshman. The advantage was we had him here in the spring. So just the spring not only being around the practices, the 15 practices, but being in the weight room and being able to talk to the guys and sit down and talk football and having him here, I think that's great. Having him at school having had school, that's not a drain on him. He's already been through it once. So he's almost. I treat him. In fact, I don't even consider him a freshman, because he's been here. So,
where's the transition with him when you come out of spring practice and it was still undetermined that he'd be a starter, and then the first walkthrough he's with the ones?
Well, I wouldn't read anything into that right now. Who's 1, who's 2? Okay, because we're going to mix and match guys as we get going here. Obviously, some days we're going to switch somebody over here. I wouldn't really put a lot of stock into a lot of that stuff right now, because we're going to start to maneuver people around to get matchups against different people. The offense might want to see a matchup over here. We might want to get something over there. So it's just going to be a lot of give and take for a while. There's a lot of camp left to go.
You said that the guys are kind of paying attention to the little things more. Are you seeing that at an earlier process in this camp as opposed to previous camps?
Yeah, I think so, because they understand the scheme now. It's the things that before that it took the learning curve. Like signals aren't a problem for them anymore, or terminology is not a problem for them anymore, so they can push it to the next step. And it's subtle little things that they now, because they know how their assignments, they're able to maybe take a little longer look at their opponent, look at the stances of guys, and look at how they line up. Maybe the split's this close, and that gives away something, or maybe the tackle's leaning back in his stance, or maybe the receivers do something different. So now when you know what you're doing, it's a lot easier for you to study your opponent than worry every day about, oh, geez, am I right? So I think that's going to be a plus.
How about that other true freshman who came in for spring, Darnay Holmes? What have you seen from him so far?
Darnay's been exceptional. He's picked up the scheme very quickly. Like I said, those 2 guys I don't treat them as freshmen anymore. They have a real good feel for what we're trying to get done. I think, the great thing about Darnay is he loves to compete. He loves to get out there and compete and get after it, and I think that's a real plus for him. He's obviously very coachable. Coach Martin's having a heck of a time with him, as far as he loves to be taught and learn. And so when you have guys like that out there, it makes coaching a lot easier.
There's a lot of talk, obviously, about the changes of the offensive staff, having the continuity of the defensive staff. I guess we kind of talked about that a little bit, but how much does that help as far as just, you talked about familiarity, but just, I think I'm asking the same question again.
That's okay. I do stuff like that too.
I don't don't know where I'm going to go with this.
You just that out of
I
this.
think I think maybe where you were heading, maybe just in my opinion,
Yeah.
was we're able to, because we get a new offensive staff, and yet we're all able to work together. Because I would go to Jed and say, Jed, can you give us this? Or he'll say to me, hey, do you mind if we do this period here to help out with this? And so that's been a really smooth operation as far as that goes. I think that's helped too, because we're working together. We're a team. We're not off. Everybody keeps, well, you're offense, deep. We're really not. We're one team. So we're just trying to get better as a team. So as we practice here in preseason, there's a give and there's a, give and we give, they give. Hey, can you get me this? Yeah, will you do this? So we just work it out.
A couple guys are banged up. Holiday, is he close to coming back, or?
Yeah, Coach Moore handles all that
Okay.
with injuries. I don't, and I'm obviously not a doctor. And Jim gets those reports, and but I just, he lets us know. We'll know.
Any freshmen who weren't here in spring practice that have kind of flashed in these first 2 days?
Well, that's hard to answer because it's hard to say because we really haven't even put on the pads yet. Okay, this is going to be a long process as we go through. And it's not fair to evaluate anybody this early because once again, their heads obviously spinning too. These are all new things, and it's hard to evaluate somebody till they feel comfortable in what we're trying to get done. And once they feel comfortable, then they'll you may say, oh, geez, I'm not sure if he's going to be good enough. Then you watch as he gets to know it, and he does it and does it and does it. And there's a communication thing, as we get going, they get to understand how we're coaching and what exactly, because sometimes there's terms that they might have heard in high school that are exact opposite that we're saying up here. I mean, I saw that when I played. I knew there was things like that used to say, oh, that means that. Oh, no, it doesn't. So it just changes.
Is it still the unit that runs is the unit that won? Because the offense ran.
Yes.
Okay.
No. We ran.
The
today.
defense ran.
Defense ran. Sorry. Right.
Well, he's something.
Sorry, I know. Got you mixed.
Goodness, get us the victory, would you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so that's what he does. We earn the right to run. We win to earn the right to run to get better. We earn the right to get better. That's our philosophy.
Coach said that the 2 deepest units on the team might be defensive line and then DBs. How much does that help having that depth there going into a season in those 2 spots?
I think those, obviously, we start off up front. Everything's going to be one up front, and we have good depth, so we're able to substitute. As many plays as we've had to play sometimes, and you see people that go these hurry-up offenses to be able to maneuver people. I not only think that the depth there, but the ability to maneuver people. We have a couple guys that can play 2 or 3 different positions up front, which will give us a lot of flexibility as we move forward. And I know Coach Martin is going to do the same thing in the back end. Those guys are going to learn 2 or 3 different positions, so that gives us flexibility. And you saw it happen last year. Randall Goforth had to go play without even practicing a snap at a position at corner. And he had to go step up in the game because of an injury in pregame warm-up. So you never know. And I think that's what we're trying to do is get everybody schematically to learn. Obviously not having Deshaun here, Holiday for the preseason has been taken a little depth away in our defensive linebacker situation, but hopefully we'll get a speedy recovery from him. UCLA,